welcome back to my channel. So, May the 4th be with you. Today is Star Wars Day, and in honor of that, I made this kind of Star Wars-y inspired build. Now, before we go any further, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. That way you can see some more of my builds and more of my videos that come out, such as my 100 Baby Challenge, my Flargon Challenge, and other speed builds that I do. But that being said, let's dig into this. Now, I base this very, very loosely off the Lars family farm in Star Wars, which to those of you who aren't overly familiar with Star Wars or aren't big Star Wars fans like I am, the Lars family farm is where, in the newest movie, where Rey goes to bury the lightsaber. It's where the iconic Luke's home is, where Luke starts off as his home. It's where Anakin goes when he goes to find his mother. It's the main place on Tatooine that you think of, besides the pod racers, because the pod races were pretty cool. But anyway, so the main typical Tatooine area, and obviously I couldn't quite replicate it exactly in The Sims because there are a bunch of neat things on that build that you can't really do in The Sims, such as rooms being inside the wall and underground, and unfortunately I can't really pull the terrain over anything. But this was loosely inspired by it. So as you come up, you have this kind of front door entrance, and I did make the front door down on a little bit of a dip because when you look at the actual Star Wars build, the door is on a dip. You have to go down before you can get in. And this first little room here, it's kind of just a coming in and welcoming room. I put a sabacc table in there, and there's a bed, a few benches, there's some shelves, and a bunch of knickknacks and stuff like that. So this, I imagine, would be the closest thing to a living room this building has. And then downstairs we have our Star Wars-y inspired kitchen, complete with droid. I'm not entirely sure what the droid would help you do in the kitchen, but it is there, and I never realized these plants, or herbs, plants, something like that. I never really realized they were from the Star Wars pack. I know we had one from the oh, what's the name of the magic pack? Oh my gosh, it completely left my head. Anyway, I knew we had one from another pack, but I didn't realize that we had one from the Star Wars pack. So that was actually kind of cool realizing that. Then just around it, there's some, some clutter, some plants, and I made use of these rocks. So in Star Wars, the Lars farm is a moisture farm. So in the middle of the big pit, because there's a big pit right here that I covered with rocks and such. In the middle of the big pit, I put these moisture retainer. What exactly are they called? Moisture vaporizer. No. Yeah, that. I put these in there to kind of replicate the moisture farm from Star Wars, but I also added one of the dew collectors from Eco Living, I believe. So your Sims can actually get water from this moisture farm. And of course, another little droid to help, because it would not be Star Wars unless there was a droid. So onto this little building. In here is, so if you're coming in, your sim goes through this door here. They have a little ladder they can go down, and when they get down here, this is where the bathroom is. So you've got one little area with a sink and a mirror, and then you go into another door where you have the toilet and a shower. Kind of hard to make a Star Wars inspired bathroom since there's not really a whole bunch of Star Wars bathroom items to use, but this was the best I could do. I put a bunch of the banners and stuff that we got in the pack up there, and I did try to keep it, Star Wars-y themed. So we have one area there with the bathroom. Let's see, over here on this side, I struggled to think of something to use for bedrooms because there's no real Star Wars beds or anything that came in these packs. But they did have these tents. So my thought process being, this is kind of like a cave type rock. And part of the reason why the build is underground, or not underground, but dug into the ground in Tatooine, is to help keep it cool. Tatooine is a desert planet. It's very, very hot. So in order to stay cool, they kind of dug that house into underneath the ground. That way it'll stay cool. So my thought process here was maybe they could put some tents underneath this big rock and it would be about the same. And that still keeps with the Star Wars theme. Of course, I did use some things that weren't Star Wars related, such as in the kitchen with the fridge and the stove. Obviously, those didn't come from the Star Wars pack. Neither did the bathrooms, but I did want to try to keep with it as much as I could. So for bedrooms, I did use these 2 tents. Each tent can hold 4 Sims, so 8 Sims could play on this lot if you wanted. They have a little fire outside to kind of keep them a little bit warm. And then, some scrap metal and stuff like that. Coming over to this last little section here, again, this is set up just like the one on the other side. So when you walk through this door, you come to a ladder. And then below the ladder, this is where I put like a little plant farm. So, thought process here being in Tatooine, it's going to be too hot to just farm outside like, you normally would. So they bring their plants underground where it's a little bit cooler with some lights to replicate the solar light. And then I also put insect farms here. So, you can get fuel from the insect farms. You can get food from the insect farms. So there's quite a few things you could do with those. So that's very very helpful there. I played with the idea of adding some solar panels somewhere, just because we've got the dew collector, we've got the insect farm. I could pop some solar panels on here and it, be a very eco-friendly lot. But I kind of decided not to go with that. I kind of felt it would distract a little bit too much. And the plants. Now, this is why I said this is a Lars Farm inspired build. It is not exactly Lars Farm, because in Lars Moisture Farm there are no plants, but it just felt empty without having any plants or anything in here. So I did add some plants, and if you look, I never noticed this before, but these are debug trees. Some of the Star Wars debug trees have like little decorations on them. So like this one has a bunch of ribbons and stuff tied to it. This one has some lanterns. So it ends up looking like a really, really cool lot. And then at night, the moisture evaporators give off a little bit of light, and then when you have the fire lit, it also looks really, really cool. So as I said, this was my build in honor of May the 4th. So May the 4th be with everyone. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. It really does help us out, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.